unabashedly dirty and proudly dirty, vehemently dirty, committed to the dirt, filthy.
It's time to take a therapeutic dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am your host, Ramona Ramirez Higgins. So this is not going to be a traditional episode. That is going to be coming out in a few days. This episode is what I like to call an ancillary dose. It's a little bonus episode. I guess it could be considered a supplement of some sort. You know how you take your main prescription that you have to get from the pharmacy, but then you also might take a supplement. Like for me, I have to take vitamin D for my mental health because I am vitamin D deficient. A lot of us are. You might want to get that checked if you haven't in a while. Just my 2 cents. My point is that this is going to be kind of like a little brain dump for me. I don't know if your therapist ever advises you to do a brain dump, or if you haven't been advised by a therapist or another mental health professional to do something called a brain dump. It's like where we pick up our journal and you just write a stream of consciousness. Not that what I'm going to be doing is stream of consciousness, but I have a lot of things I'm processing in real time, just like all of us are around this whole situation. I mean, we've been bombarded for the last 29 days, the last 30 days now, with so much information about everything on Summer House that's blowing up. And if I was to talk about the audio leaks or Lindsay's appearance on Watch What Happens Live or other late-breaking tragic news that's come out in the last 24 hours, it would make one of our regular episodes like 3 hours long, and I don't want to do that. Also, this episode is kind of a bridge until I can record about the episode that just aired a couple of days ago. That would have been season 10, episode 13. And when Josh and I watched it on Tuesday night, we could not stop pausing the episode to take in these bombshells. There were on the spectrum of bombshells dropped on Tuesday's episode, there were like minor to major. And we kept pausing it to process. We rewound some things several times. And I knew I really wanted him to join me to talk about Summer House before Margie gets back. But we can't get together to record until this weekend. And rather that we sit and talk for 3 hours to talk about the leaks and everything else, I felt like doing an ancillary dose would be a fun way to bridge us until Saturday. And honestly, I feel like I need to talk about it a lot. And for me, this feels so much more agonizing than Scandival did. And I'm still trying to figure out why. I think that for me being biracial, a woman of color, I think seeing the racial aspects of the situation go down is hitting me personally. And I think that's happening for a lot of people watching. Obviously, you don't have to be a person of color for it to be affecting you like that. But I think that that is to me adding an extra, it's making the sting of all of this a little bit stingier. Does that make sense? And I wonder if it's bothering me so much because Amanda got away with her white woman tears for like 10 years, the last 10 seasons. Is that why? Am I taking this way more personally, and am I way more upset by this than I was about Scandival because I didn't clock what a diabolical asshole she was in real time throughout the last 10 seasons? I mean, she kicked a bottle of Fireball out of Jules' mouth in, I believe that was season 4. I think they were having the rave party in the backyard. Jules had a glass bottle of Fireball in her mouth, and Amanda kicked it while she was taking a sip. As someone who had a ball thrown at my face, quote unquote, on accident. This was years ago, back in my Silver Lake days. I was at a party, and someone who was wasted was throwing a ball. The ball hit the bottle that hit my tooth, and my tooth got a little bit jagged and got a little bit jagged after that. The person who threw the ball was not fucking cool about it. I'll just leave it at that. But I don't think it's wreckage around that because I was just recently reminded of how diabolical Amanda was to Jules in that season. But it's basically been in front of my face. She has said things that are so gnarly. But why didn't I see it at the time? I've been asking myself this like over and over and over. And I think I know why now. I am the adult child of an alcoholic. I've talked about it many times on our regular episodes. That's the whole reason why we started this podcast, is because the way I watched the dynamics go down between the Richards sister, including Kathy Hilton in that one, it just reminded me so much of of what it's like to grow up in an alcoholic home. And so obviously, I'm an adult child of an alcoholic. Kyle's behavior was like, I had like a heat-seeking ACOA missile to see that. And watching his behavior affected the parts of me that still vividly remember what it was like to live with that kind of behavior. And so maybe that's why. And maybe Amanda really fooled me that she seemed to care. She fooled me with the way she seemed to care about her friends. I totally bought it. And I think that might be the most insulting thing, is that I thought there's no fucking way that she could ever do that. There's no way she could ever do that to Sierra. And maybe that's the most insulting thing. Margie and I always talk about how some of our most reliably effective triggers are people on these shows who think that we're stupid. She thought we were stupid enough not to see the real her. But I didn't see the real her. I see Heather Dubrow on Orange County thinking that we buy her bullshit. I see lots of other housewives thinking that we buy their bullshit. But I bought Amanda's. I bought it completely. And looking back, it's probably because I was having such a visceral physiological reaction to Kyle because of my own stuff that anything Amanda was doing was eclipsed by that, which completely makes sense. And I'm not like over here like beating myself. Well, no, that's not true. I feel really dumb. I feel so bad that I didn't see it. I hate being taken advantage of. I hate it. I don't know. I also related to Amanda when she would talk about her mental health struggles, and that endeared her to me. Maybe it was a fucking manipulation. I don't know. Like I said, this is a brain dump. I'm not making any claims. I'm just getting curious about all of the reasons why I might be so triggered by this. And I know I'm glad that it's not just me, but it still doesn't feel, it feels a little weird. It feels a little weird to be reacting this with this much intensity, I guess I should say. Then before I go on, terrible news broke yesterday. We learned something new that just tips this whole situation into more and more surreal and tragic territory. Yesterday, headlines broke that Wes Wilson's cousin was arrested the night before Wes and his castmates shot the reunion. So that was April 23. So on April 22, Wes Wilson's cousin was arrested for the murder of their step-grandmother. Yeah, you heard that correctly. The night before, Wes was going to have to pay the proverbial piper to Andy and his other castmates alongside Amanda, a day that would make the season 8 reunion grilling of him look like a mild call to the carpet. The night before they taped it, the night before he taped that reunion, his cousin shot their step-grandmother dead. Gun violence, folks, it's as reliably American as the fakakta 4th of July parties these young adults have been throwing for 10 years on this show, right? It's so awful. And I mean, by now we've all heard about how little Wes spoke at the reunion at all, at least as far as the 3 leaks have been, that came out were concerned. Everyone commented that Wes was being particularly quiet and Amanda was doing most of the speaking, even though before that, he had kind of made it seem like he wanted the heat to be directed at him. I believe that's what he said. And that's not how it turned out. And everyone was kind of jumping to conclusions why, which I can validate why everyone thought Wes wasn't talking a lot because there's no defense for it. It's possible now that we know what happened. If West had been informed by his family at that time, it's possible that that's why he was not talking as much. Oh, my God. Okay, and then the other piece of news that came out, and again, I'm recording this at 10:15 in the morning on Thursday, April 30th. So it's 2 days after the last episode aired, 1 day after the news broke about West's cousin being arrested for the murder of their step-grandmother, who was married to West's grandfather for 50 years or over 50 years. So I don't know how close West is with this side of his family, but basically, step-grandma or not, if this person was with West's grandfather for 50 years, this is probably the only grandparent on that side of the family that West knows. So that's just so gnarly. But another piece of news that I saw this morning, there was an article in Page Six about an interview that Bravo executive Frances Berwick did with a publication called The Ancillary. That article on The Ancillary that she talks in, it is behind a paywall, so I wasn't able to read that article. But basically, she does say that they picked up cameras to tape a scene that they shot with West and Amanda after the news broke that they were in a relationship. She says that the network wanted to prioritize the emotional well-being of the cast and didn't think it was right to immediately pick up cameras back up on Summer House. I am going to call bullshit on that. I am going to call 100% bullshit on that, because In the City is going to make its premiere directly after the season finale of Summer House. I believe that's May 19. So, sorry, Frances, I don't believe you. Another thing I did read in the part of the Ancillary article that I could get through before it demanded that I pay for the article, she mentioned that there is going to be a shift from a coastal audience and casts from people that live on coastal cities, to people wearing cowboy boots and hats and leading a very different type of life. All right, here we go. So everybody basically in entertainment is now trying to cater to the regime that's currently in power. I knew it was going to happen. I know that everyone loves McBee Dynasty. I personally can't stomach it. I guess never say never, right? I thought I'd never watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and there are times when I can't look away. But my point is that, like, it's happening. Like, people are starting to cater to what's going down. I don't know if any of you have heard about, there is a Summer House Ozarks show. Summer House Ozarks is a show that West was going to be the head of, and it's supposed to start production. He is going to be like the main character coming from the main, like the established Summer House cast and then going to Ozarks. Personally, I'd rather have Martha's Vineyard be brought back than watch this bullshit. So I don't know if that's going to continue after all of this news broke. I only mention it because that speaks to Ms. Berwick's quote where she says that they are moving away. They're moving towards, they're basically making MAGA-friendly programming, y'all. That's what they're doing. That's what they want. I'm depressed by that. I am completely and utterly depressed by it. I don't think it's necessary, and I think it's gross, and I think that I'm grossed out. I'm grossed out by it. Okay, another thing I started asking myself is, Amanda has talked about her depression. And I don't know much about her childhood. We haven't really learned anything. Like, I feel like we know tons about Carl's childhood. We know pivotal things about Lindsay's. We know lots about Sierra's, but we don't know a lot about Amanda's history. Is Amanda depressed because she has to live with herself? I'm depressed, and I've made terrible choices at times when I've been depressed, but I have never, ever, ever, ever acted diabolically and then doubled the fuck down like she has in all 3 audio leaks that we have heard. They've all been taken down, by the way. I looked for them again before I recorded just to listen to them one more time, but they've all been taken down. I've never seen or heard anything like it in all my years of watching Bravo, and I've been watching since 2008 when they came out with The Real Housewives of Orange County. there's doubling down and then there's doing what Amanda did, which is so much entitlement. If I behave in a way when I'm not in my right mind, I usually feel terribly about it. And I practice humility, repair, and amends, whether living or otherwise. I don't know what's in Amanda's future, if she will ever get to a place where she practices humility, repair, and amends, living or otherwise. But right now, with what she did last week, what we heard come out of that reunion, I'm in genuine shock about it. It is so gnarly. This is like a new brand of gnarly we heard from those audio leaks. That was insane. She had an excuse for everything. She was combative. She was rude. She was a victim. Like, well, okay, I guess I'm just not going to say anything then if people are going to keep talking over me. Like, she made Kyle's victimhood seem almost pleasant. I'm talking about Kyle Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, not Kyle Cook. Yeah. And then I don't know if any of you have looked through her Instagram posts. I know a lot of Bravo content creators have made posts just based on her Instagram posts. And I have gone through and looked at a couple when I was desperate for more news to come out and it wasn't. I'm just being honest. You're only as sick as your secrets, right? But you guys, it was right in front of us. Pics of her and West doing all sorts of things for well over a year, going back to like winter, spring of 2025. When she posts and she puts music, like their songs with titles like Crushing, where West will be in the gallery of pics. She used a song called Older Women, when she posted a pic of her laying on the shoulder of her best friend Katie's husband the day that they shot the Over the Hill party for Kyle's birthday. Her friend Katie and her husband are going to be characters on In the City. And Katie was also referenced in one of the audio leaks. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3, where Sierra asked Amanda, hey, if this happened to Katie, what would you think? Or would you do this to Katie? And Amanda's response, it was shocking. She said, well, Katie and I have been friends since 3rd grade. Like basically saying like, bro, you're chopped liver compared to my friend Katie. We've been friends since we were 8. Gross and disgusting. She was so passive aggressive. She was so full of victimhood. She's really believing her bullshit. And I don't feel like she cares that the damage that she's left in her wake. It's staggering to me. And so I don't know. Is she depressed, or is she depressed because she makes these choices and won't recognize why they're so destructive? Is she depressed because she's not looking at herself and her choices? She's really invested in keeping up the appearance that she did nothing wrong. It's wild to me. And to go back to the Instagram posts a little bit, you know, we've all seen the one with the caption, "Best day ever, Wes Wilson." It was earlier in the winter when they had that big storm in New York and everyone was hunkering down. Did she make that caption, "Best day ever," and then attributing that quote to West? Was she referring to the night she missed at the Summer House where West said it was the best night ever? I don't know. She also, in one of her many carousels, there's a screenshot of like this 1950s hand making, like if you're holding your index finger and your thumb, like to make something look small. And there's a text box right above the hand in that post that says, "This is how much I care," meaning not a lot. And these are after the rumor started circulating. She posted that. And these kinds of posts with West in them, and then these kind of like little code, either like little song titles or just, she was giving us little bits of information. Either she was communicating directly with West via these Instagram posts, or she was trying to see what she could get away with, either intentionally or unintentionally. But like, so gross, dude. I don't know if she's depressed because she makes these choices and won't recognize why they're so destructive. It's just wild to watch. It's just, is this not the most bizarre experience you've had as a Bravo viewer? I feel like this blows Scandival away. Like, I can't even compare them both. I don't know, man. They both said that things got serious in February of this year. I feel like, in my opinion, it started way earlier than February. Like Lindsay basically said on Watch What Happens Live after this week's episode aired, if you haven't watched it, Lindsay Hubbard and Bailey Taylor are the guests, and they both share as much as they've probably been allowed to share, other than Andy telling them, like, you got to save it for the reunion. And obviously, Lindsay, of all people, knows how to play this PR game. So it was still a shocking and entertaining 21 minutes, even if Bailey and Lindsay couldn't go like whole hog on what they were going to say. Lindsay basically said on Watch What Happens Live, it was probably emotional for quite some time before it turned physical, or it was both. I mean, when I look at how checked out Amanda was last summer when it came to Kyle, like him saying, well, I'm going to shower with you. And she's all, no, or not really, like answer, just not seeming like her body, mind, spirit, soul completely closed off to him. I'm so curious. And I wonder, and my gut kind of says like she was already like emotionally invested in West, which probably lent to her, I don't want to say it's like pathological detachment that we're seeing her treat Kyle with, but she seems over it. Like, if we didn't know this was going on, we would be watching this couple going, oh, Amanda's already like out. But now that we know that it's going on between her and West, I think her utter checked outness, her signed, sealed, delivered level of checked outness was absolutely because she was having an emotional affair with West already. That's just my opinion. So on Watch What Happens Live, Bailey and Lindsay talk about that notorious brunch that happened on February 28th, where it had been a lot of the Summer House cast dudes had gone to brunch, and then West left and had brunch with Amanda, and then everyone kind of ended up at the same place. And this was the brunch where Amanda made out with Kyle in front of everybody else. So they've already announced their separation the month before. They announced their separation in early January. On February 28th, the cast find themselves together at a bar, and Amanda jokingly has this intense makeout with Kyle, and Lindsay and Bailey on Watch What Happens Live are basically saying, oh my God, she made out with Kyle at that brunch on purpose to use that as a decoy for her already hooking up with West. When Bailey saw the two of them making out, she asked West, what are they doing? What is Amanda doing? And he just said, let them do their thing. So it sounds like Amanda and West had made this plan, or that, she told him what she was going to be doing. I can see them texting each other under the table like, hey, I'm going to make out with Kyle and throw everybody off. But my God, I mean, that is so gnarly. It's so gnarly. It's so gnarly. It's so crazy. It's like the tangled web we weave, right? It's like what Margie and I always talk about. If you have to lie, you're always going to be spending so much money trying to figure out how to keep up your lie or keep track of who you said what to. I just find it to be, she must be so exhausted. That's a choice, honestly. The callousness in those leaks, the callousness of making out with Kyle as a decoy to throw off everybody to what she was doing with West, it's gnarly. And I know I'm going hard on Amanda right now and not West because, like Sierra said, like, West is, okay, hashtag not all men, but also hashtag men, right? I mean, we know the bar is lower than low. I think I'm focusing more on Amanda because it is a traumatic thing to watch people that we thought were best friends, to watch a betrayal on this level. So I am not coming from a place of misogyny. I'm absolutely not coming from a place of excusing West. I'm just saying that, like, I'm more compelled and personalizing what happened with Amanda and Sierra than I am with I mean, that's a whole other thing too. West. Anyway, why? Why did the leaker leak these? I don't think they were paid. They leaked them to people, to someone who ended up leaking it onto Reddit. I'm telling you guys, Reddit's chock fucking full. Okay, Reddit is a good goddamn time. Sometimes, a lot of the times it can be. Not every sub, trust me, but like right now is good. And so the leaks were on Reddit. So they probably were not paid for them. Who are they? What was their motivation? I can't wait to find out more. There are rumors going around that Jennifer Lawrence was the Bravo superfan that solved the mystery of who leaked it. I have no freaking idea, you guys. I have no idea. But like, if I may put on a tinfoil hat for just a moment, I know and acknowledge that what Andy Cohen said was true. The cast laid their souls bare that day. And we've only heard a total of 6 minutes from an 8 to 10 hour day. And he said on that same episode with Bailey and Lindsay, and they also echoed what Andy is about to say. He said that this was like a drop in the fucking bucket. Like, you haven't seen nothing yet. But is that his only reason he was so bummed about the leaks, is because of the cast? I'm sorry. I'm too cynical and I'm too old. They've stirred up so much more interest in this. People that weren't into Bravo at all have now gone fully into the Bravo pool. Welcome. Join us. The water is nice and warm and comforting and relaxing, and it feels real good in here. My point is that, was he really just that bummed about the cast? I think they were really pissed because there was no way after those audio bits leaked that they'd be able to edit Amanda in a way that would not be believable after hearing how dirty she is, like unabashedly dirty and proudly dirty, vehemently dirty, committed to the dirt, filthy. And if we hadn't heard those leaks, maybe we'd never know the depths of her filthiness, you know? We'd never know, maybe. Maybe they would have edited her in a way that was gnarly, but not like gnarly. Like, this is like fucking no give backs gnarly, you know? Like, what do you do about this? What do you do about that gnarly of fucking doubling down and betrayal? Like, what do you do about that? Villain. That's like villain. That's like as a villain as you get, is the stuff that we heard. So what motivated them to do it? Did they know? Did they have a feeling that Amanda was going to get an edit that would keep us from knowing just how gnarly she is? I wonder. I mean, if we didn't know about Wes and Amanda, we'd be tuning into In the City like ignorant idiots, thinking we're front row to the last days of a marriage and a couple that we've been watching for 10 seasons. They could edit her to be the ultimate sympathetic martyr. But even after we did find out about Wes and Amanda dating, I mean, they still could have worked a little bit of magic to make her seem like driven into Wes' arms by Kyle's terribleness or something. I don't know. But now after the leaks, we see the real butt ugly her, like on the inside. There's no way any of us who have heard these leaks will ever believe another kind word that comes out of her mouth. Like, I can't imagine that right now. She betrayed a woman we believed to be a beloved friend, and a beloved friend, I'm talking about Sierra, and Sierra stole our hearts with her inherent goodness and authenticity since 2021. She started on the season that they filmed in summer of 2020, the COVID season. I mean, and Amanda was so entitled while doing it. I just think we're all in shock. I'm in shock. Between this woman, Frances Berwick, talking to the Ancillary about, oh, well, we didn't want to pick up cameras with Summer House cast for their mental health, but it's like literally In the City is going to be debuting right after the finale of Summer House. It's not, dude. I don't know. We know how the sausage is made. I am cynical, and I am coming from a cynical place to protect myself because I don't want this level of betrayal. Again, it's really been fucking weird, you guys. It's been 30 days of weirdness. 30 days of weirdness. I don't know. It's so crazy. Anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to sit down and talk about it, I guess, for a little bit with you guys because I don't think I have anything groundbreaking to say. I'm sure nothing I've said is a thought that you've already had like cross your mind. It's just sad. It's just really sad. And I absolutely believe that Sierra is going to be okay. But as you've heard me talk before, I don't like that people have to be resilient. I don't want any more women, especially Black women, to have to be more fucking resilient one more goddamn time because of some filthy white people behavior. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to have to see it on a show that I love. No, we don't get more and more Summer House, I don't think. I don't think they're going to be taping the show anymore. I think it's done. This is it. They can't do it. They can't do it this summer. Right? It was going to be In the City, and then that was going to be it. New cast would come in. Now, I don't know what's going to happen this summer. Am I going to watch the Ozarks? Fuck no. Ew. Ew. Oh. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for taking an ancillary dose with me. And I will be back in a few days with Josh Higgins. And we're going to talk about season 10, episode 13. And I will hopefully have that out for you on Saturday afternoon. That would be May 2nd in the afternoon. And then hopefully we will be back next week with Margie. All right, everybody. Take good care of yourself, dude. Brain dump. Brain dumping me an email if you want. You know, a therapeuticdose@gmail.com. Pick up your journal and brain dump it out. I want to talk about this as much as I can. And there's only so many people I can talk to about it in so many hours a day. All right, everyone. I hope you're having a good one. And we'll talk to you in a few days. All right. Bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.